Hey folks, Tom Norfleet with www.citizenshipquickly.com. Topic I'm going to cover today, which will literally save you millions of dollars over a period of years, depending on how big your business is. It will certainly save you tens of thousands of dollars when you look at compound interest. Something that I've done for years, and I've always wondered why people do it the opposite of well, I used to think I was weird, but I'm finding out very few people do this. And this is hiring self-employed contractors versus employees. I started my business back in, it was 1975 when I got out of college. I had a tennis pro shop business. And then eventually I got in the insurance and investment business. I did that for many, many, many years. But one thing I noticed about a lot of people is they don't really realize the amount of money that they spend in employees. If you took that money that you spent in employees and invested it shrewdly into equities or even shrewdly in properties for that matter, what that money would have accumulated to versus putting that money into employees. Now, I know one of the biggest arguments I have where people say, well, I can make more money putting this back in my business rate return wise. Well, maybe you can, but then maybe you're not. I'm going to tell you some of the problems that you run into with employees that not only slow your business down, but they stifle your business. I'm not saying don't hire employees. I'm saying if you hire employees, do it through a self-employed contracting basis. That way you're only using employees for the time you really need them. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I've got a friend of mine who's had a large business, and he used to get stressed out more than anything. And one of the biggest things that he used to get stressed out on was he would come in his factory and he'd see his employees. He'd walk in when they didn't know he was coming in, and just wasting time, just doing things that are unproductive. How many times did you come in and you caught your employees maybe staring at the clock when it was close to 5 o'clock, which was checkout time? You get so much wasted time that that's a lot of money that's going down the drain. Wouldn't it be nice to get all your workers to work just as hard as you? Well, maybe your business is set up that way, but generally, if someone doesn't own the business where they work, they're not going to work as hard as the guy that owns the business. They just don't have that drive and incentive. Once in a while, you'll run into somebody who really has a lot of drive, but generally, you know what happens? That guy or gal usually is always searching for a higher income somewhere. He's going to stay with you for a while, and he's going to leave and find something that pays higher. Or he's going to do this. He's going to see what you're doing. If he's real ambitious, he's going to quit and start his own business, and he learned the business from you. What I suggest you do is get a guy who's already involved with another business. It's not your type of business, but he has employees that he subcontracts that can do the type of work that you want. And he'll never leave you and start another business. And if the employee that he has doesn't work out for you, you just say, hey man, this guy's not doing the job. And then this self-employed contractor just fires that worker and hires someone else. He puts up with the headaches in hiring them, firing them, retraining them, or whatever that needs to be done. You're not having a hassle with that. Man, that can save you a lot of time. Let me give you some examples of some things that I've done in the past. I had an insurance marketing company for many years. We used to hire people as a self-employed contractor, everybody. I didn't have any employees. In fact, I'll tell you this, I've never had an employee from day one. They've all been self-employed contractors. And it made me become financially independent at a young age because all this money that people were putting away in employees, I just took it and invested it. And any help that I needed, I hired self-employed contractors to do that work for me. Okay? This way I only used them for the time I needed them, and that was it. And if things got slow or whatever, I just didn't need them for that. You don't have to fire them. So many people hold on to employees for maybe months or years because they just don't have the heart to fire them. Well, if you got a self-employed contractor basis, you just don't get him to do work for you for that period of time. There's no hiring and firing process. You don't have to worry about an employee suing you, trying to come back and drum up some grievance they got from you because of maybe they accuse you of sexual harassment when you didn't do it. And these are types of ways employees can come back and have a lot of animosity once you fire them, and you basically they think that of you as maybe stealing the income that they should have gotten off future income that they're not going to get now because now you fired them. You eliminate so many problems by hiring self-employed contractors versus employees. I mean, it makes such a big difference in your business. But I've had so many people that are self-employed owners of businesses that will tell me that they will have employees that, they just waste so much time. That's the hardest part of their business, is getting someone who's really ambitious, that puts in a lot of time and it literally puts in overtime to want to grow the business. And it's just very difficult to do that. And that's why I like having self-employed contractors. But when I was in the insurance business, I had about maybe 200 self-employed contractors working for me, but I only paid them, in most cases, depending on the insurance company would pay them directly, so I didn't even have to hassle with that. So all I did was bring them into business, train them, and then I made overrides off whatever they produced. And then I got paid directly from the insurance company. And if they didn't work, no big deal. I didn't pay them anything. Everybody was on a contracting, self-employed commission basis. So if they're not ambitious, then they don't want to make money, then that's fine. But I haven't lost anything out of my pocket because I'm not paying them a salary every month. Really, this is the best system to use, is putting people on a self-employed contracting basis. Your loss in your business is so minimum if something like this ever happens. And in fact, I don't even know any ways I've lost money in the past by hiring people as a self-employed contractor. But these are the problems that you run into, with people, and the hassles and headaches of firing them and stuff. Most people just don't, they'll hold on to employees for a long period of time because they just dread the firing process. And then you've wasted tons of money. If you're paying this person $2,000 a month, think about what that money would do in a good mutual fund that you're not even managing yourself. Another mutual fund manager manages, or even better yet, put in an index fund, long-term and dollar cost, and put $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Man, in a lot of cases, that'll make you a lot more money, and then just hire self-employed contractors. That's the way I would do it. If you really want to streamline your business and make a lot, this is the way to do it. Another problem you have with employees is theft. I see so many people own businesses, they worry to death about employees. They spend so much time looking over their employees, they have wasted time worrying about, did they punch the time clock right? Let me go check this, did they do this, that, and the other? That's time that's wasted there from out of your pocket. So, whenever you're overlooking employees with your time is money. You're wasting money from that. Checking the clock, checking to see if they've made all these long distance phone calls. Checking if they stole this, stole that, or whatever. It's not worth it. It's like if you invest in a mutual fund, all those companies within that mutual fund, they've got thefts in those companies, but somebody else is hassling with the headaches with it. Why don't you spend time at what you're doing good, which is marketing? Most people who own the business, that's their main project, is marketing, and spend your time doing that. And what I would be doing is hiring people on a straight commission basis. Don't be putting them on salaries. You're never going to tell you something. It's very difficult to get a real good, competent person on a salary basis, because usually people that want salaries, they're doing it for one reason. They don't think they can produce that much, and they want to make sure they can pay their bills. So in essence, what you're doing is you're hiring really a half-butted type person. If someone knows they can make a lot of money in sales, they're going to want to be on a straight commission basis, and it takes all the headaches away from you from having to worry about them, producing. And this is the way I've run my business, and I would tell you to do this in your business too. Any type of business can be run this way. You just have to have the contracts, get with your lawyer, and set up self-employed contractors in your business. Even if you might say, well, what about a secretary, Tom? Well, hire a secretary on a self-employed contracting basis. Let her work out of her home. Have a contract set up. And you're going to have to go by the laws in your country. Every country that's, you might be from Germany or the U.S. or whatever, but I'm saying that go by the laws in your country, and if your country will allow it, hire your secretaries that work out of their house. Okay, and you might say, well, Tom, who's going to look over them? Well, if you put them on a commission type basis, if they don't produce, you're not paying them anything anyway. Okay, that's the best way to do it. You have stipulations on guidelines they got to meet. If they don't meet it, they don't get paid. And your guidelines based on what you set up. So you can streamline your business, get your overhead almost down to nothing, and still have 50 employees, but they're on self-employed contractors. Or you can hire somebody that owns a company that has a big company that has lots of employees. And if one's bad, he can just fire that guy or not let him work with you anymore, and then just get somebody else. And then this guy owns the business, so he knows what you want, and he's going to make sure he hires the type of person that you want for that. There are just so many ways that you can do this, but I would always tell a person, hire people on a self-employed contractors. Is it a self-employed contractor? I've done this my whole life. I've never hired an employee ever in my whole life. I hope you picked up something today. If you want the new videos as they come out, just hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen. If you got a question or comment, just hit that. I'll talk to you on the next video. Take care. Bye.